Today's video is sponsored by EDHLAB. If you've ever goldfished a deck and thought, okay, but what happens when someone actually interacts with me? That's exactly what EDHLAB solves. It's a free goldfishing site that lets you playtest with up to 4 players at the table. Testing 1v0 is fine, but it doesn't show you how your Spellslinger deck holds up against Big Stompy or how your Aristocrats list handles go-wide tokens. EDHLAB lets you simulate real commander-style interaction and counter strategies. You can import your decks directly from Architect or Moxfield, or just paste in a simple deck list. You can even share your decks with the community and see and play with or against other shared decks to explore what strategies people are brewing. It tracks life totals, commander damage, commander attacks, and more. You can customize sleeves and playmats, save games to come back later, and they're even working on a mobile version. Plus, there's an active Discord where you can chat with other playtesters and suggest new features. Check out EDHLAB at the link below and start stress testing your decks before game night. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I've got an exciting one for you with the most fun commanders to build on any budget. Let's jump into them. First of all, Karona, False God. My goodness, this commander is so much fun and so incredibly unique. It is such an old school commander, but one that can be built in a lot of new school ways. A 5/5, I believe, Avatar? God, maybe? I can't remember exactly what the errata has been over the years, but legend definitely sums it up as well. For 6 mana in total in Wooburg, it's got haste at the beginning of each player's upkeep. The player untaps Karona, False God and gains control of it. Whenever Karona attacks, creatures of the type of your choice get +3/+3 until end of turn. This is a very unique commander. This is one that gets passed around the table, essentially, and every single player gets to utilize that incredible effect to pump their team. Now, here's the thing as well with Karona. Yeah, you gotta want to build around this in some thought-out ways, obviously, because just slapping this in any deck isn't going to work. You are actively giving your opponents basically an anthem, as well as your commander to utilize. So yes, you can do some very cool things. I mean, I think, in my opinion, maybe you should go check out the episode on my backgrounds deck around Karona, which can be absolutely obnoxiously amazing by throwing all the backgrounds, essentially, that players have to keep track of, and then they have to utilize Karona and keep track of those as well. That being said, obviously, utilizing it in a way where you have kind of political control, where you've got some Pillow Fort type effects to protect yourself, you got some ways to protect Karona while attacking, and you're just incentivizing and forcing your opponents to attack each other, and then you're just maniacally winning the game. It's absolutely amazing. Check it out. Pick up Karona, False God. Next up, in a completely different direction, though, we've got Thromok the Insatiable. Oh my goodness, yet another gem, a 0/0 Hellion for 5 mana in Gruul. It's got Devour X, Rex the number of creatures devoured this way. Again, Devour, not a mechanic, not a keyword we see very often at all, but this version of it is insane, because as it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This creature enters the battlefield, X counters on it for each of those creatures. So basically, get your multiplication tables out, essentially, because you are going to be exponentially growing Thromok. You're going to be going, oh yeah, okay, I've got like, I don't know, 5 creatures in play. Okay, cool. Little token creatures, whatever they are. I sacrifice those. Oh, and by the way, now all of a sudden, 5 times 5. I've got 25 counters on Thromok. Literally turning my commander into a one-shot KO simply by getting rid of, 5 goblins or whatever, essentially. You are able to just basically throw things into the maw of this creature and say, become gigantic and just destroy my opponent. So yes, of course, again, when it comes to taking your opponents out, you can hastily attack, maybe give it trample, you could double up power, give it trample, you could, give it some evasion as well, or you could just straight up fling it at opponents. And flinging is so much fun, and a little spoiler for a future commander we'll be talking about. Yeah, we're not done with flinging just yet, but this is such a fun commander, and again, one that can win in so many ways. It can be so gigantic so quickly. It's absolutely amazing. Pick it up, build around it, and I guess I should remind you too, there's a handy-dandy link in the description below for all these commanders. Go ahead and check those out. Moving on, one that, my goodness, can absolutely wreck a table in the most fun way of all time. Hey, you want a burb? Rendmaw, Creaking Nest, a 5/5 Scarecrow with Menace and Reach for 5 mana. Ingolgari enters, and whenever you play a card with 2 or more card types, each player makes a tap 2/2 Blackbird creature with flying. The tokens are goaded for the rest of the game. Yeah, so basically they have to keep attacking, but they can't attack, well, if able. So again, when you get to a one-on-one scenario, that's going to change, but still, you're going to be in a great position to win the game from there. With this one, again, on ETB, yeah, there's not a ton of ways to abuse ETBs in Golgari, obviously. You could use some like Feign Death type effects, sure. And you should have some of those in the deck, potentially, maybe to protect Rendmaw, but more so, it's going to be, hey, can you play cards that are 2 or more card types? And you're like, absolutely, there's a ton of great ways to do that. I mean, a very obvious and easy way to do it is like artifact creatures, okay? They can be low to the ground, they can be inexpensive, they can even be free, essentially. And all of a sudden, you're like, oh yeah, play you. Okay. Make some birds, everyone. Okay, attack with some birds, everyone. You can have other ways to incentivize players. I mean, to basically force players to start attacking each other. Ways to pump their teams out of nowhere. Ways to make their creatures more deadly. Ways to make your creatures more deadly. And yes, to take over the game. So even when you do get to that, one-on-one scenario at the end and they, well, maybe attacking you with the birds, well, you've got ways to essentially say, well, that doesn't matter so much to me, and that's completely fine, and yeah, I'm going to just absolutely demolish you. It's such a fun and unique commander. Sometimes the most fun approach is, well, the most straightforward approach as well, sometimes with Ruxa, Patient Professor, a 4/4 Bear Druid for 4 mana in green. Enters the battlefield or attacks to target creature card with no abilities from your graveyard back to your hand. Creatures you control with no abilities get ++1, and you may have creatures you control assign, well, their combat damage is they weren't blocked if they've got no abilities. Basically, hey, what's your favorite ice cream flavor? Vanilla. Yeah, that's exactly what this commander is. Essentially, you are going to be just making a deck around all vanilla creatures and utilizing, again, those that get absolutely no play anywhere else. Just being able to say, you know what? You've got a home here. Come with me. And now all of a sudden you are an amazing creature that I absolutely love, instead of one that you're just like, oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to skip that on Scryfall and just ignore it because it just is a vanilla creature. No, you want the vanilla. You want to demolish your opponents with cost-effective creatures that have a good amount of power and now get even more power. And, of course, if you utilize anthems, make sure, well, you're using anthems that don't give out any keywords, or it just negates this, too. So make sure you're just doing straight-up anthems. Then all of a sudden you can pump your creatures and, yes, demolish your opponents because, again, even if your opponents block, it does not matter. That damage is coming through. Basically, all your creatures are Thorn Elementals, essentially, which is absolutely amazing. 7th edition callback right there. That being said, again, sometimes the most fun approach can be the most straightforward one, and Ruxa is like, hey, you know what? Let's play some vanilla and have a good time. Okay, I referenced it earlier, but here we are, Mr. Orfeo, the Boulder, one of my favorite commanders of all time. One of the decks I've been playing the longest, essentially, ever since it came out. And, yeah, I always just, on a game night, just end up reaching for this one and saying, like, you know what, we're going to be doing some Hotline Fling. 2/4 Rhino Warrior for 4 mana in Jund. Whenever you attack, double target creature's power until end of turn. Again, when it comes to commanders, players almost always, basically always, underestimate uncommon commanders when they see them at the table. They're like, huh, my commander is a mythic rare that costs $55 and blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah-de-blah. And yours is an uncommon and it costs 12. Oh, you peasant. And I'm like, actually, this version only costs 10 cents. Yeah, this is an amazing commander that essentially, again, is super simple, all right? And it has very few lines of text on it, essentially, right? It's like, hey, attack, double up one creature's power. Doesn't have to be Mr. Orfeo attacking, which is great. You can sit back with this one. And, of course, there are so many powerful creatures in this color combination that you can just go, oh, yeah, all of a sudden I doubled power. Maybe I've got another way to double power. Maybe I've got a way to, well, get through. Maybe I've got a way to, well, hit and then maybe flank. Maybe I've got a way to utilize that power to essentially drain all my opponents, essentially. There's so many great ways to utilize power. And, again, having a commander that can be that conduit to double up power in absurd situations. And, of course, obviously, again, all those green cards are like, hey, you know what? Draw cards equal to power. And you're like, my goodness, I just drew 20 cards very quickly. And it's only turn 5. Yeah, you can do some absolutely crazy, amazing things. Take players out of nowhere. Again, literally taking players down from 40. They think they're safe. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, attack, double up power. Use this other card to double up power again. Swing, take that player out, and then fling it at this other player, even though they had great defenses up, essentially, and 40 life, and they're just gone out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden that last player's like, oh my gosh, where did everyone go? And then they've got one turn to think about how they're going to, just meet their demise next turn, too. So, yeah, it is such a fun commander. Make sure you check out my episode out on it. Moving on, creatures dying and helping in a different way, though, with Elenda, the Dusk Rose, a 1/1 Vampire Knight with lifelink for 4 mana in Orzhov. Whenever the creature dies, you get a counter on Elenda. When Elenda dies, you get X 1/1s with lifelink for X Elenda's power. Again, one that did benefit from the change for the Commander Death rule. Basically, this is one that essentially says, hey, you know what's going to happen? I get more powerful the more every creature dies. Again, my creatures, your creatures, token creatures, does not matter. Any kind of creature dying, I get a counter on me. Of course, there's ways to maybe double up death triggers. Yeah, that's a thing, Tesa. Or ways essentially to get even more counters, like, you know, certain equipment that say like the exact same thing, basically. You've got ways to get more and more counters on this, essentially make it go even taller, even quicker. And then, of course, when you need to, just go pop, and all of a sudden I've got an extremely wide army. So essentially, this is one that can go tall, and then it can go wide. It can go both at the exact same time, basically. You know, if you're like, okay, yeah, lose my commander. Okay, intentionally, feign death, bring it back, and now I've got a giant army, and I'm about to build it up right there again. You can do some absolutely crazy, amazing things with this one. Again, go tall, go wide, go aristocrats even with this one, go life gain with this one. You can do so many different things in so many different directions. Such a fun commander. Pick it up. Next up, one that says the world is your oyster. You can go in any direction you want. We got Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, a 2/2 human soldier for 3 mana in white, but it is a Wooburg commander, the best color combination. Gets ++1 for each color among other legendary permanents you control by paying Wooburg. Search live for a legendary permanent card with converted mana cost less than Sisay's power. With that card on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Now, you can build this commander basically in any direction you want. You can just go like straight up, just like, okay, you know, solid legends. You just go like, all right, legendary tribal, a bunch of great legends, cool. Shove them all in the deck, and there you go. Or you can build a very, again, specific deck, maybe like I did around Sisay, where like, I've always been fascinated with this legendary card. Again, Lich's Mastery, a card that like is basically useless in Commander, that no one plays in Commander. But if you can build an entire deck around it, you can make something really effective and really fun and really off the wall and out of nowhere that opponents do not expect. Because they're like, oh yeah, right before my turn, yeah, okay, utilize my commander's ability. I tutor out Lich's Mastery, and they're like, what? You did what? Yeah, Lich's Mastery. Okay, I'm gonna lose the game if it leaves the battlefield. And they're like, what are you doing? And then you're like, don't worry, you'll see. You do absolutely crazy, amazing things with this one. Again, either in a, well, again, continuously building legendary, just glut of cards that you have access to, essentially, with Wizards making more and more legends. Or again, go incredibly specific. Pick a certain legendary card that can be like your kind of pseudo commander and build around that card. It's so much fun. Check it out. Moving on, Pramikon, Sky, Rampart. You know what's fun in Magic sometimes? Well, bending the rules, or just completely changing them for everyone at the table. A 1/5 wall for 3 mana in Jeskai, Flying Defender. Enters the battlefield, choose left or right. Each player may attack only the nearest opponent in the chosen direction, and planeswalkers controlled by that opponent. This is one that says, hey, you know what we're going to be doing? Whatever I say. Yeah, you are playing with a wall. I think this is still maybe the only actual wall commander out there, which is just, again, kind of funny when you're like, all these legendary characters in the history of Magic that I could build around, so powerful. Look, Urza's over there. Oh my gosh, look, there's Sisay. And then this other player comes to the table like, I built around a wall. And everyone's like, what? I built around a wall. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Anyways, Magic is weird. This is a card that essentially says, again, here's what we're going to be doing, whatever I say. I say we're going left, I say we're going right. I can just completely ignore the person on my right if I'm like, well, you're super powerful right now. Look at that board state. Look at all those giant creatures. I'm like, yeah, let's just attack this way. So then you're like, okay, sorry, person across from me, but you're kind of in trouble because you're getting attacked by the most powerful player out there. And then the other player on the other side, which isn't doing so well over there, I'm fine with them attacking me. That's completely fine because they probably don't have any kind of forces out there either. And of course, again, things shift in a game of Commander. The ebbs and flows of the game, you can easily change because, again, this is an ETB that is not a caster requirement. It's very easy for you to use and abuse. You're like, okay, hey, I blank this, I reset it, and I choose the other direction now. Yay! Of course, utilizing ways to force opponents to attack, to incentivize opponents to attack, to essentially, well, benefit players from attacking as well, to increase their attacking potential, attacking power. There's so many different avenues for this kind of a commander. You can do so many cool things with it. Check it out. Pick it up. Next up, Kethis the Hidden Hand. So again, like Sisay, a commander that is heavily benefited by legendaries, and again, the glut of legendary cards we are getting every single set, essentially, but one that goes about a different way. A 3/4 Elf Advisor that costs 3 mana and Abzan. Legendary spells you cast cost 1 to cast. Exile 2 legendary cards from your graveyard until end of turn. Each legendary card in your graveyard gains. You may play this card from your graveyard. It is one essentially that says, hey, you know what we're going to be doing? Yeah, whatever I want to do out of my graveyard. You can utilize, again, legendary spells. Well, that's legendary creatures again. Enchantments, artifacts, sorceries even. There are so many different legendary cards out there essentially that you're getting so much value out of. And again, being able to go, okay, temporarily, again, every single card in my graveyard now is accessible. Again, if you've got any kind of, mass mill effects, you got any kind of, tutoring and tomb effects that put things right in your graveyard, you can get so much value out of legendary spells. And of course, some like again and again and again. You can do so many good things with this one, just demolishing your opponents. So much value to be had. Again, with a card pool that just keeps growing. So many cool things. Different direction for legendaries. Pick it up. And finally, speaking of fun commanders, and again, ones that are like kind of weird, like in the sense of Magic, where things are like, yeah, again, Urza over there, legendary creature. All right, Sisay, and then a microchip. What? A microchip. Well, it's kind of like a jellyfish. I don't know. It's a microchip. 0/4 legendary artifact creature equipment jellyfish. Sorry, I skipped part of the 5 words that are in its line. The reality chip for 2 mana in blue. You milk the top card of your library anytime. Already sold on this as a commander as soon as I saw that, because you know what? Being able to see the top of your library is so much fun. Being like, oh, okay, what's coming? All right, what can I do with that? You can already do a lot with that already, even without the next part. But let's read the next part first. As long as it's attached to a creature may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library, it's got reconfigure for 3. Basically, equip it to something, essentially. So this is one that essentially says, hey, you know what we're going to be doing? We are going to be basically future sighting off the top of my library. My library is an extension of my hand. Even if you're not attached, you can still utilize that information off the top of your library to play ahead and also go like, oh, you know what I'm going to be doing? No, I don't like that. What I'm going to be doing is utilizing cards that can actually maybe mill the top of my library repeatedly, exile the top of my library repeatedly, so I can get rid of dead cards off the top of my library and draw into better cards. Or again, if I have this attached to a creature and I can actually go, hey, you know what, play things off the top of my library, I can just go, okay, those like dead cards on the top of my library are no longer there, and I can dig into other cards that I can play now. Again, having essentially your library as a hand is amazing. If you've never done that, experience it with this commander and do some incredibly fun and powerful things. Pick it up, play around it. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on this one. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.